You know it's this. Take a perk and a talk of that shit. Money swallowing like sis. Did it perfect in the kid. Got a billion who sang on my head. Look up the better put on the road I just spent. I know we got $1 million. The devil that shit ain't not cheaper than again.
Hello and welcome back, fellow anime lovers, to MangaMuse. I am delighted to have you join us once again in the world of fanfiction and fantasy. This is the first part of, What If Naruto Enters Camp. Special note, this fanfic is written and a masterpiece of Nasha Rei-Kun on FANFICTIONnet. Do check and support the author too. Now smash the like, share and subscribe button for more. Also press the bell icon so that you never miss such great parts. Thanks for the introduction. Now let's dive into the world. This is gonna be great, Gwen. A jolly-looking man said with a big grin and shining green eyes. He was tall with a lithe frame, peach skin, and short brownish red hair with a small tuft that stood up at the front. Wearing a yellow ascot, a green shirt, a short open brown vest, brown khakis, and a pair of brown boots, he looked more energetic as time passed. Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to this one, David, the woman next to the man, Gwen, said with a smile of her own, chuckling a bit. Being about as tall as David, bearing a similar set of clothes but with long dark brown hair that she put up in a short ponytail with two thick chin-length bangs, brown skin, and purple eyes. With her wearing shorter khakis, more like shorts really, and having knee-high boots, Gwen hummed as she crossed her arms. Hopefully, your nephew can actually bring these kids more in line. Oh. He's probably going to show them the fun of Camp Campbell. There was a disturbance down the road they stood by, David's grin widening in anticipation. Behind them, in the tree line of a forest, a child's head poked out with narrowed eyes. The F are those two so happy about? The child wondered, his light brown skin creasing as he sneered at the vehicle coming up the road, teal eyes squinting at it while his black hair shifted as his arms crossed. Wearing a light blue hoodie, dark blue pants, and a pair of white and black sneakers, the young boy's eyes narrowed as the school bus came to a stop in front of the two. Are they finally ready to send in the big guns? He wondered what that would be. Executioners? Government agents who weren't Arid's dads? A clown? A clown agent who was an executioner who'd torture them? The doors to the vehicle opened and he slowly leaned forward in anticipation. You. We'll have words, quarter-yo, uncle. Came a raspy voice from the vehicle as a short form jumped out of it. Sup, Gwen. Naruto. The two greeted the boy who Max gawked at. Who the hell is this? He shouted as he ran over with a look of distaste. Max? The two adults blinked at him as the boy in front of them, Naruto, grinned. Max's eyebrow twitched as he ended up face to face with him looking up, technically. The other boy, who Max thinks is older, was taller than him though not by much, probably a midget. He had spiky blonde hair, fair skin, and bright blue eyes that were filled with a joy Max hated. Wearing a pair of odd-looking dark blue sandals, he wasn't sure, a pair of orange sweatpants, in this weather of all things, and a black shirt with an odd, slightly cool, flame-like spiral design, Max was left conflicted. The boy's pouches on his thigh and lower back, his camping backpack thing, and even the blue headband around his head made him think he had to be a weeb of some sort. Sup? The blonde asked with a chuckle as Max blinked. Name's Naruto Uzumaki, how's it Hanjin? I didn't ask and didn't know that we were receiving another chunk to this dump, the younger boy said as Gwen groaned while David chuckled. This is Naruto, well, he's my nephew, he explained like it was a little secret. The way Max's eyes went up to him with such disbelief got a laugh out of the blonde. This second life is so weird. Naruto thought. And this guy looks like he needs some kinda help, well, not like it was wrong for him to want to help. This kid is your nephew? Yeah. Actually, he's been here before, Max looked shocked. It was the years before you were here, I mean, he is older than you so it's not surprising right? Him and Meredith are the same age, David smiled. Seriously? Max looked back at the short blonde. But he's so short. I mean, I am short, Naruto admitted, folding his arms behind his head. But you're pretty short for your age, too. You try and start a fight. Naruto's sweat dropped. You're literally the first one who said it. I'm well aware of what nice guys like you are like. There's one right here. Max said, pointing at David as Gwen raised a brow. Naruto and David are kinda the same, but one's got more wits about him, she said with a finger tapping her chin and a look away. Ah, thanks, Gwen. David said as Naruto snickered and the woman smirked a bit. Though, I'd say Naruto's got quite the positive head on his shoulders. We've both got wits. Yeah, definitely. Come on, you guys, it's time to reintroduce Naruto to the camp, she said as she jabbed her thumb back behind them. And we probably should do this now before someone explodes over pudding. Oh, wait, that happened again? Naruto asked curiously as the bus drove off somewhere behind the camp. I mean, last time I saw it. I don't think that kid turned out too well. Oh, don't worry, the kids these days are more resilient. David said with a jolly grin. And they're not allergic to pudding, thankfully. As they walked off, Max kept right behind Naruto. I don't trust this guy, he thought while stuffing his hands into his hoodie's pocket. No one who's related to David would be a normal person, no way, so he was gonna find out. As they walked the forest, he raised a brow before smirking as a familiar ravenous platypus came into view. Oh, God, not this SHT again, Gwen grumbled as David blinked. Why, young lady, where have you been? He asked the platypus, getting in closer before crouching down to the now growling animal. Oh. WL, young lady, we can just David fumbled as the creature's growling grew louder. Max grinned before frowning as Naruto moved forward only to be stopped by Gwen. Whoa, there, buddy, I don't need my favorite camper getting his face eaten by a ravenous platypus, I don't know where those teeth have been, she said as Max's jaw dropped. He just got here. Max shouted. Just got back, Max, she corrected as she pat the heir's shoulders. Naruto. Sup, little lady, the blonde said with a grin as he crouched by the now confused platypus. What's your name? Naruto chuckled as David sighed in relief. Mwak. The creature said as she turned to him, much to the other's disbelief. Mwak it is. He grinned, scratching her chin and being rewarded with a tail wag. Honestly? You're pretty cool, the boy said as he got up, Mwak crawling up to his shoulder. Alright. Let's get to camp. He said with a grin before walking ahead, leaving behind an in disbelief Max, Gwen, and a smiling David. You know, I'd forgotten that Naruto's way with nature is the best in the world. David declared. It's been so long since I've seen it, but Naruto's actually got a really amazing connection with animals, trees, bugs, and more. Why yeah? Gwen asked, rubbing the back of her head. Well, I mean, he does hold the most forestry badges. It's been a while, Max, she told the boy by her feet before continuing on. I guess this might keep things to a minimum with the animals, at least. Of course. You see, Naruto wants to own his own zoo when he grows up. I guess that explains a lot. Max, meanwhile, was left staring in disbelief at the platypus being. Good. What the hell just happened? They all looked on as the kid came out of the boys' cabin. Who's this asswipe? One of the many kids asked as Max stood in front of their group. Some Japanese kid named Naruto, or some SHT, Max said. Japanese. I must meet him post-haste. Though his looks would be rather fetching on a painting. You think he knows any kung fu? Maybe he's developed some 3-act plays. More of such things were said, leaving Max annoyed. The hell? I mean, it's not like a lot of interesting people come through here, said a boy at his side. He was tall and scrawny for his age with fair skin, blue eyes, and curly brown hair. Wearing a yellow sweater, brown pants, and white shoes, he sported a curious expression as David, Gwen, and Naruto came over. "Hello, campers. I hope the day has been treating you all well because we have a new old hand around here," David said as Gwen nodded before patting Naruto's shoulders. "This kid's name is Naruto Uzumaki, he's been here before so I better not hear any bullshit from you guys," Gwen said with a knowing look. "That's new, usually Gwen just gets angry at all of us," a short girl at Max's other side said. She had teal-colored hair set in a trio of poofs, slightly tanned skin, and pink eyes. Wearing a yellow shirt, red overalls, and brown shoes, the girl tilted her head at the sight of Mwak being good. Did he hypnotize Mwak? The power to hypnotize animals. That'd certainly be new compared to our usual crazy, the boy from before said. "Neil, Nikki, focus. I know this guy is bad news, he's David's nephew," Max said in frustration. "Seriously, you're David's nephew?" The group of campers asked in surprise as Naruto nodded. "Yep. He's my mom's bro." The former ninja grinned. "So, nice to meet you guys. I've already heard a lot from Gwen. "Oh, duh, Japanese," Neil, the boy from Max's side, blinked. "Well, I don't think you'd want to hang with guys like us if she told you a lot." Neil knew how Gwen's impressions could leave someone. "I don't mind, you guys just have character. Never had it put that way before." "New kid." "Nerf don't," Gwen said as the boy in question grumbled. "He's big and rotund for his age, having fair skin with freckles, green eyes, a button nose, and a short mop of red hair. Wearing a muddy yellow shirt that didn't fit well, brown shorts, and black boots, he crossed his arms and he squinted down at the grinning Naruto. "I don't trust you, new kid, though not because you're Japanese." "Thanks," Naruto said unsurely. "Well, tell me about yourselves. Names, dreams, dislikes, likes." "Ooh. Oh. You first," Nikki said immediately as Max groaned. "Sure. Name's Naruto Uzumaki. I'm Japanese like you know, I wanna own a zoo one day and look after all kinds of animals, and I like training, ramen, my family, and animals. Don't really hate anything but I've got my values and stuff. What do you think of the sacred arts?" Came the call of a girl with braces and a lisp. Her skin was darkly colored, her eyes blue, and her hair a similar darker brown shade compared to her complexion. Wearing a blue magic hat, a similar colored cape, a yellow top, black pants, and blue boots, the one with the interesting question seemed like a bit of a nerd as her big circular glasses shined in the sunlight. I'm not exactly a religious guy but you do you." "No. Not that. The arts of the unknown and wizardry." Is everything alright?" Naruto asked with a look that said it all. "No, Neris is here for roleplay camp," David said with a grin. "I hope you all can get along well together and form some of the greatest bonds known to mankind. Why, Naruto's likely been one of the most popular campers for the 3 years he was originally here before going back to Japan." Another of the girls in the crowd perked up. "Popular?" she asked as Gwen chuckled. "Well, I only knew him for a year but, yeah, Naruto's constantly been a well-liked kid around these parts, thank God," she said with a strained grin as the boy in question raised a brow. "You might want to take it easy, sis, you look stressed," he said. "You have no idea." So, Gwen clapped away her issues for now. "Well, actually, Naruto doesn't really have a camp so much as he just comes to Camp Campbell so, I don't know, go and have fun." "Humph, you wanna have fun, do ya?" Max smirked as Naruto turned to him with crossed arms, Mwak still on his shoulder. "Stop stealing our mascot." "Huh. I don't remember stealing anything," he said as Mwak mwacked. "Mwak," the creature roared. Barked. Quacked. The creature quacked. "See. Don't take the animal's input. She's an animal. Max huffed as Neil tapped his chin. Well, I don't think any of us would mind her not trying to eat our faces, he said as his friend shot him a look. That is. Why yeah, give us Mwack back, Neil said weakly as Nikki grinned. So, you can also speak with the animals, can you? She asked Naruto, all up in his face in an instant before scrambling back from the growling platypus. Whoa. Alright, keep it chill, Naruto said as he scratched the animal's chin, much to Mwack's satisfaction. I just have a good connection with nature, I've been around forests for as long as I can remember, I guess these guys can just pick up on that, he chuckled. Now, let's have some fun. Last time I was here, we had a special game where we messed around with the numerous talents. Let's do that. Many of the kids now looked interested with only Max left annoyed. He's taking over their minds. Was this going to be some takeover? I won't stand for it. You wanna play games, do ya? How about tag? You versus us. Max would be as disagreeable as possible. Sure. I knew it the F. Naruto's grin grew a bit cocky as he buffed his nails. Hey man, if you wanna lose that badly with that much advantage, be my guest, he smirked and Max's eyebrow twitched ferociously. That's it, we're putting him 6 feet under. Come on, guys, we've got a plan. The boy said with fire in his eyes as the kids looked excited and curious. Nerf, the bulky kid, frowned as he cupped his chin. I like the approach but your skills need work, he said to Max who looked like he'd slapped him. Excuse me? Naruto chuckled as David grinned. Why, that's the kind of spirit I hope to instill within them. How'd you do it? He asked his nephew. Well, it's not like that Max guy didn't give me a ton of room. He's like their kinda leader, Naruto snickered. Not just their leader. Gwen asked him. No, they've got that kinda dynamic. I'm pretty sure they're gonna fight over who's leader if this goes on for too long. That's why I'm gonna win fast, Naruto said as he slapped his fist. Mwack, you'll be watching from the sidelines, alright? It'd be bad if you got hurt. Mwack, the platypus answered. Actually, I'm curious, Naruto turned to the counselors. You guys do have days and stuff where you go and play games with the other camps, don't ya? I mean, Sasha should be in the Flower Scouts and Eddie's in the Wood Scouts. Oh, yeah, a month back we had the camporee, Gwen explained to him as Naruto grinned. Honestly, we barely came out of that one alive, she muttered, lifting up the blonde and hugging him like a safety toy. Ah, calmness and a good child. I've missed this. Ah, don't be like that. Why, I bet Naruto can really help brighten things up around here. David grinned. Now, Naruto, I feel it is necessary to warn you of all our kids' amazing talents. Please, I'm all ears. Naruto grinned mischievously. With the Campbell campers, Max growled. We're gonna tear that bee apart. He told them as he paced in front of the group. I don't trust him and none of you guys should either. Yo. One of the kids, a taller girl than the others and even taller than all the boys, spoke up. So, yeah, what's this guy about? She asked. She was tall, as said before, with peach skin, long blonde hair with a pink stripe on top, and polio blue eyes. Wearing a black biker's jacket, a yellow shirt, blue jeans with rips, and a pair of dark-colored boots, she flipped a skateboard into her hand, calling out from the side. What do you mean? They're excited for him to be here. Max said in disbelief. There's clearly something up. And he was a smug bstrd. Hello, Meredith. I guess, Meredith frowned. Still, it's not like we won't win, right? It's one guy versus all of us, she said even as she considered Naruto. Besides, he seems like nerd girl over here, she said, pointing to Neris who gasped. Totally a weeb. Another party member. Neris said in awe. Then, he might be really awesome. Yeah, I'm not worried about that, Max said. Besides, once we trounce that whatif, I doubt he'll look at ninja the same way ever again. So, you said he was it, but in what way? Nerf asked. Like, if I'm gonna beat someone up, I'd like to know my limitations. Well, I mean, he'd be the one trying to catch us, right? Neil offered. If that's the case, we should probably place some ground rules, a timer, and all that. Honestly, am I the only one worried for why he wasn't bothered? What if he's got superpowers? Nikki grinned. He won't care if he's a werewolf, he'll just eat us and be done with it, she waved him off. For the love of God, no. He's not some werewolf, he's just another nerd. Max shouted. And I've already got the limits, he smirked. If he thinks he's hot SHT, we'll give him bullshit time limits. He gets 1 minute and if he can't do it, we get to call him B-boy for the rest of the summer. The agony. Another boy said, a lanky one like Neil with lighter skin, short dark brown hair that curled in by his neck, and yellow eyes. I'd love it. His anguish might inspire plays the world over. Wearing a yellow medieval blouse with puffy green pinstripe sleeves, pale green pants, and some small brown boots, he grinned. I'm all for it. Humph, well, when should we do it? Nikki asked. I mean, I want to strike while the iron is hot. Yeah, I know, Max said. So, like, we'll need some plan. I want to make sure that BSTRD can't do anything. Why not have Nerf hold him down? Neil offered. I mean, considering his size and mass, that should be game and match. Hey! Nerf crossed his arms. In this context, I'll allow it but don't make me PND you, dweeb. Neil flinched. Why yes. I am just, making plans. After all, this should go well with just that. So, this is where you all meet, Forest Army, Gwen said as she broke into the area they were chatting in, smirking a bit. Finished your planning, Naruto's out meditating in the main camp area. Said he got bored waiting. Hee, this'll be easy, Max said as he walked off with the others behind him. Prepare for your camp favorite to be called B-boy for the rest of the time here, Gwen. Gwen blinked before tapping her chin. Well, considering Naruto's big on promises, he'll probably follow through if he loses, she grinned. So, what if he wins? They all stopped and shot her a look that said it all before looking unnerved by her confidence. Excuse me? Neris blinked. I'd assume he doesn't have good enough modifiers for this. Ignoring nerd speak, what the hell are you so smug about? Max growled as Gwen chuckled. Nothing, I'm just asking what'll you do if you lose. I don't like that confidence, Neil said. You're not going to help him somehow, are you? Ha! The way Gwen snorted got a jump out of them. Nope, me and David are staying out of this. In fact, he went back to prepare Naruto's welcome back party, she grinned again. So, come on, you're not so bad at this bet thing that you didn't prepare to possibly lose, did you? Nikki hummed. I mean, he just got here so we don't know what he'd want, she tapped her chin. Oh. Maybe we'll become his slaves all summer. Gotcha. Nikki, no. Max gaped at the wild girl. Why the F would you say that? I mean, I figured since we were up in the stakes, I'd make it really exciting. No. So, right, you'll all be slaves before the end of summer, Gwen grinned as she walked ahead. Try your best, kids, this ought to be fun. They were all left there in silence, now uncertain. That doesn't mean anything, right? Neil considered. I mean, it's Gwen, she'd put all her eggs in a basket with her liberal arts degree. Yeah, ignore her, this is gonna be easy, Max said as he walked ahead once more but with an annoyed frown on his face. The F is she on about? Asking them what'd happen if they'd lose? Bullshit. Naruto meditated in a rather nice area of the camp, some squirrels, and a pack of bees all around him. So, I guess I'll just go all out from the beginning, he thought. You guys don't mind if I go at you with everything, right? Naruto called out to the treeline, eyes still closed. Max mumbled as they saw him. F off, we're here for our game. Alright, Naruto said as he got up before pulling his headband down to cover his still closed eyes. This should make this mostly fair, he added with a thumbs up. What's the time limit? That cheeky bee. 1 minute, you ass. Alright, when do we start? The blonde boy asked as he stretched out. Also, how far are we willing to go? I mean, this area's always been pretty big. It should be decent enough, Neil said even as he rubbed his arm. I don't like this, something about this was off. Why all the handicaps? Despite Max's inclination towards calling him a B, Neil wouldn't hold it against him to deny the 1 minute rule, but he'd even put on a BLNDFLD. What was going on? Alright, so, when? Naruto asked again before turning his head to the side. Gwenne. I've got a timer, she said with a grin, shaking the item in her hand while also carrying a foldable chair and laptop. I'll start it in, 10 seconds. She set up before sitting down with the timer on the ground. On your marks, Gwen said as she put on some shades. Get set. Naruto finished his stretches while Nerf roared. You're going down, B-boy. He declared as Max nodded with a serious expression. This is gonna be easy. He said. Go. Gwen declared as she pressed the button atop the timer. They'd begun to scatter, Nikki and Nerf rushing out to attack Naruto only for the boy in question to fly right between their heads, tapping their noggins. 2. He grinned as he landed into a roll before lunging after 2 other kids. Make it hard, guys. What the F? Max choked as Neil squealed before they ran to the other end of the area. The F is this SHT? Naruto had tackled a pair of boys, one who dressed like an astronaut, his underwear outside his outfit with a yellow blanket cape around his neck, and the other who looked like an archaeologist, without the hat. For down. Naruto grinned as he turned his head towards 2 other kids. Gotcha. He called out as he gave chase after Neris and a tall boy with magician attire on. Ah. His speed stat is ridiculous. The RP girl squealed as the boy next to her grew anxious. Slaves are never treated well in my sessions. She pulled out some dice from her pocket and threw them behind her only to freeze as a shadow shot overhead and landed in front of them. A hand on her shoulder had her on the ground along with her fellow runner. 6, Naruto said as he walked off. How much more time, Gwenne? He asked the relaxed counselor. 45 seconds. She shouted. Gotcha. F. Are we seriously about to lose? Neil screamed as Naruto's form turned to him. EEP. DMN it. Stop sounding like a girl. Max shouted at him before growling. Arid. For the love of God, stop him. The tall girl frowned before throwing her skateboard ahead of her, Neil, Max, and the drama kid. She hopped onto it before grinning as she shot around. Come and get me, ninja guy, she smirked a bit as Naruto's form skidded to a stop and faced her. He can't keep up with my board dash. Caught you. She heard as her speed was arrested instantly, currently hefted in a pair of, surprisingly strong, arms. You weren't fast enough, Naruto said with a snicker as Meredith stared at him in disbelief. The heck. She flinched before he put her down, kicking up and grabbing her board before handing it to her. Meredith groaned. That was way uncool. Maybe, Naruto smirked before patting her shoulder and walking off. 7. He announced before rushing after Neil and the drama kid. Meredith grumbled a bit before walking over to the sidelines along with her fellow tagged. That was so stupid, she grumbled as she crossed her arms, watching along with the others as Naruto caught Neil and the other boy quickly. Stupid blondes, Erin grumbled. He's like a wild animal. Nikki said with excitement. Do you think he'll make us make him a pyramid? I've always wanted a tan. He beat us so easily. Nerf cried to the sky, on his knees. What's the point in all of this? I don't know, Neil huffed as he walked over to them with a grumble. What I do know is that this is all Max's fault, he groaned. Me and Preston didn't stand a chance. Alas. It was not to be. Preston, the drama kid, wailed dramatically. Now, I shall know SLVLBR. He declared, looking down at his hands. You don't suppose he'll wish for entertainment, do you? I can handle that role. He looked relieved. Meredith raised a brow at that. Skate shows. Most likely. Well, maybe this wasn't so bad. Especially when Naruto came back with a struggling Max underarm. F off. F you. DMN it. The short Indian growled as Naruto dropped him on the ground. What's my time, sis? Naruto asked Gwen, who chuckled. 36 seconds. She answered back. Nice, new record, Naruto said with a grin before ruffling Max's hair. Alright, good to get to know you guys a little bit. Later, he waved them off before leaving. Huh. What about the slavery? Nikki cried as Max's jaw dropped. Nikki? What the F are you doing? He shouted while Naruto blinked before turning back to her while lifting his headband. What? It was their lose condition, Gwen said as she snickered at her laptop. They'd be your slaves until the summer was over. Neil looked very nervous. You'll always need a science guy, right? He asked the older male whose sweat dropped. No, screw that, I don't want slaves, what the hell do I look like? Him. Naruto asked before jabbing a thumb in Max's direction. Excuse me. You mot half. The shorter male raged before Naruto rolled his eyes. That potty mouth's not gonna get you far, he said before walking off again. So, yeah, you're all relieved of SLV duty, whatever that is, Naruto declared before walking off. You kids are honestly so confident sometimes, Gwen said as she tilted her shades. Maybe, next time, you'll take the hints I'm dropping. Naruto's been one of the most physically powerful of our campers since I've known him. He has held the top place in every Lake Lilac camporee the 3 years before last year. And you told us nothing, Max grunted. And missed this? Nope, besides you all wouldn't have listened anyway. Yeah, I can see that, Nikki said with a shrug. Alright. I bet he's gonna go and tame more animals. I've gotta learn. Like an apprentice. She ran off. Well, perhaps he'll feel a little more willing to tell me what to do. Preston realized in awe. Wait for me. Watching the two go, Neil rubbed the back of his head. That's got some worrying implications, he said as Max huffed. Well, considering all the interesting stuff is going on in that direction, I guess we're going. Max grumbled before following after the others with Neil shrugging and doing the same. So, you guys seem like quite the weird lot, Naruto said from up in a tree. Meredith looked at him curiously as she leaned back against the tree he was in. He's super weird, she thought as the newest member of their crowd hung upside down from a tree branch. How the hell are you so fast? Erin asked without hesitation. Huh? Oh, well, I've trained nearly every day of my life, Naruto grinned as she raised a brow. Animals are all kinds of crazy, so you need to be able to keep up with them. Besides, I like being the ninja of the rainforests, he snickered. Ninja? Nikki asked in awe while Max snorted. So, you are a weeb, he said, and Naruto raised a brow. What's that? The entire area went silent as they all stared at him in disbelief. Wait. Neil stood up from the stone his inner circle were sitting on. Are you trying to say you don't know internet lingo? I mean, I know how to use a computer, but I don't really spend too much time on it. I could be having fun outside. Blasphemy. So, what? You're an outdoorsy type? Erin asked. Yep. We live in some forests in Nagano, so I can just keep on running through it playing with the animals. There was even an alligator who showed up. Alright then, color her intrigued. I won't stand for it. How can you not know the wonders of the internet? Neil exclaimed. It's not like I don't get that it's important, dude. I don't know your names, Naruto realized. It's just, I'm not that type of guy. Neil's eyebrow twitched before he climbed up and pulled the blonde down. That's it, we're educating you in the ways of the internet if it kills us. He said as Naruto blinked before shrugging. Alright, lead the way. It's Neil. Lead the way, Neil. They set up a small station in the clearing before the others gathered around the two, Neil showing Naruto the wonders of a laptop. And this allows you to watch any YouTube video your heart desires, the science kid said dramatically as Naruto tilted his head. Videos can range from anything, you'll likely find it on the internet along with some other things I don't think are all that great. Like what? Naruto asked. Wow, you're really, Nikki tried to phrase it. Not good at computer stuff. That's not computer stuff. Neil said. It's the pervs of the internet invading my nerd SHT and using it for evil. Right, so only pervs use the internet? The ninja enthusiast asked. No. Neil squawked. No. Godmit, it's for culture and art. Most guys would call that stuff cultured, Max said with a smirk as Neil's eyebrow twitched some more. Come on. Show him the spicy SHT. Humph, Erin smirked at that while the other kids chanted. No. DMN it all. Neil growled. Alright, come on guys, Neil wants to help me get used to the internet, Naruto said with a hum. I mean, no offense, I don't think I'll really use it, but I'm glad to learn. Thank you, you seem to truly understand the greatness of science. I mean, you care a lot about it. It's not my place to joke about you helping me. Neil looked like he'd ascended while Max's eyes narrowed in a glare. For F's sake, are you some Boy Scout? If you wanted to be one so badly, go be in the Wood Scouts. He exclaimed as Naruto blinked. Oh, snap, right. You guys had a whole thing with the other camps here, right? Huh. You know our archenemies. Nikki said with clawed hands. NRG. 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 Naruto chuckled nervously. Well, I do okay, so, my childhood friends are in each one, the group balked. Yeah, my cuz is also in the Flower Scouts. What? Max gawked. You son of a bitch. You were on their sides. We're childhood friends, what side am I on? Wait, Neil now looked very nervous. And Naruto, by some chance, do they know you're here? Oh, yeah, totally dash. There you are. Came a voice that Max growled at. At ease, men, this extraction will be simple and painless. OMG. Naru. What the hell are you doing here? Came another voice that Nikki growled at. Wood Scouts. Flower Scouts. Naruto grinned. Sup, guys. Naruto snickered despite everyone else getting up in arms. The F are they doing here? You brought them? Max accused the blonde boy who shrugged. That's quite enough, Maxwell, we'll be here to take our astounding member and leave, the male childhood friend of the latest pain in his as said. Being at a moderate height for his age, which couldn't have been that much older than Naruto's by maybe a year or two, he had short maroon-colored hair that had two leaf-like tufts coming up by his forehead, fair skin with freckles, yellow eyes, and some acne around his chin. Wearing the Wood Scouts camp uniform which consisted of brown shoes, dark green pants, and a tan dress shirt, he had on two sashes that held a series of badges on them. Oh, you brought my sash. Naruto grinned as the older boy smirked, coming forward and handing it to the blonde. Thanks. Of course, as the greatest member next to me, it's only right to have you bear your accomplishments to the world. Edward Eddie Pikeman declared, hands folded behind his back. Ew. Came the leader of the Flower Scouts troop as she stomped over. Of course, you'd show up, she growled as Edward shot her an unimpressed look. She was a year or so younger looking than the blonde boy at the center of all the craziness, with pink almond-shaped eyes, light salmon hair that fell down to her waist with a dark magenta hair band in it, peach skin, and black eyeliner with pink blush. She had on the Flower Scouts uniform. Composed of a white blouse with pink trim, a skirt with diamond patterns composed of 3 different shades of pink, a purplish-pink sash with some badges, and a pair of brown boots. The uniform's abilities were more than most people would know. Naruto would, his cousin had explained to him the intricacies of their uniforms. Speaking of. Yo, cuz Tabii, he chuckled as the blonde girl of the Flower Scouts grinned before hurrying over. Naru. She beamed at him. Tabii Namikaze, his cousin on his dad's side from an uncle, was a short girl with round fair-skinned cheeks covered in freckles, big round yellow eyes, and thick-looking blonde hair with a scrunchie that held up a decent amount of it. Wearing the Flower Scouts uniform, Naruto got up before giving her a big hug, the young girl grinning brighter as they embraced with fervor. So, what's Sasha on today? He asked her flatly as she smirked. We're planning our cookie sales soon, she whispered as Sasha and Edward bickered back and forth. And, well, she's not exactly a fan of the popcorn. Oh, he realized as he put her down before she grinned at someone behind him. Question mark. Turning his head, Naruto's sweat dropped at Neil currently trying to sneak away. The science boy groaned as Tabii approached. Hey, Tabii, he said nervously as she batted her eyelashes. Sup, lover boy. Naruto snorted at that before finding a familiar presence above him. Snake, what's up? Well, besides you. He chuckled as a form descended behind him. Your senses haven't dulled, a diminutive boy said as he stood up from his crouch with a smirk. Long time no see, he, Snake, said as he and Naruto bumped fists. As stated before, Snake or Billy Nicksilp was short. Bearing dark brown hair that fell down his head and parted by his forehead, he had brown skin and a single revealed blue eye, the other, his left, hidden behind a black eye patch. Wearing the Wood Scout's uniform but with the pants legs rolled up to his knees, grayish-brown boots, and his shirt being short-sleeved, he also had bandages wrapped around his wrists and a scar on his chin. Of course, dude, animals, remember? I do. Your forestry badges can never be forgotten, Snake smirked before frowning as he locked eyes with Max, slowly squinting in suspicion. Be careful of that one, he speaks like a snake. Excuse me? Max stomped over. Last I checked, Billy, Snake's eyebrows furrowed. I'm not the one lying about names and camps, ya be. Nikki growled before jumping back and landing in a kung fu pose, the last of the Wood Scouts arriving with crossed arms and narrowed eyes. Petrol, it's fine, seriously, Naruto said as he and the tallest of the group of kids locked eyes. Glad you understand, the blonde grinned as the taller teen nodded. Petrol, or Stephen Van Petrol, was tall and broad-shouldered, being the most muscular-looking kid there. Having tan skin, black eyes, and a bald head of no hair, he was like Snake in that he customized his uniform in a similar fashion but minus the wrist bandages. Humph, he grunted as he and the blonde knocked knuckles, Neil whining behind them while Max stared in utter disbelief. You understand him? The short Indian balked. Well, yeah, it took me a year but I figured him out, Naruto chuckled before rolling his eyes and stepping forward between the arguing redheads. Alright, what the hell is going on? He asked the two who stopped before facing him. Come to our camp, they said in unison before growling at one another, Eddie revealing his braces. Not to your camp of all places. Stop copying me. Naruto crossed his arms with a hum as the last of the Flower Scouts slunk over with a raised brow. She was the tallest of the girls, right up there with Meredith, bearing brown skin, shoulder-length blue hair with a comb-over, and a single exposed blue eye. "Yo," she said to him with a smile and wave that he reciprocated. "Sup, Erin. Now, come on, guys, we're back together in over a year, let's not fight over this," Naruto said to his childhood friends. "Come on, I was, apparently, just learning the wonders of technology. It's art," Neil said before hiding behind the blonde as Tabii stalked him. "Tell your cousin to cease and desist permanently." "Come on, cuz, let me at him," Tabii said as Naruto rubbed the back of his head. "I feel like I'm missing a lot of info here," he said. "Look, come on, can we all just take a second to chill?" Naruto offered. Moments later, he chuckled as they all sat in a circle. "So, you guys seem to know each other, but these guys are Flower Scouts Troop number 789 and Wood Scouts Regiment number 818. They're the friends I made along the way," Naruto explained. "Guys, I just met these guys from this year's Camp Campbell." "We know them, unfortunately," Neil said flatly before shying away from the grinning Tabii sitting next to him. "Why did I allow this?" he asked himself in horror. "Because you know you want me, Cece." She purred. "I didn't want any part in this." "Tabii, ew," Sasha said with a flat look. "Besides, Naru, you shouldn't be at no dinky Camp Campbell. This place reeks of the poor and beggars." "Wow, I really haven't been exposed to this in a while," Naruto said as Edward smirked. "It'd be for the best that you don't allow that," he said as Sasha growled. "After all, you're a part of our troop, 818 sticks together." "I know, Eddie, I'm just doing like I always do. ISWCH between M. This year, you guys know I'm here, it'd be hard to break that CYCL, Naruto said. Besides, I can just sneak over if I want to hang or you guys can, like you just did." "Ugh, fine," Sasha and Edward groaned. "Now, let's get back to learning about the internet. You leave that pure boy alone." The two hissed at Neil who squawked. "Excuse me? I'm not some weirdo on the internet." He defended, offended on every level. "Okay. I know how to use a pure web browser that doesn't need incognito mode." Erin tilted her head as Naruto raised a brow at it all. "I'm glad to have whatever honor of mine protected, but this is getting on my nerves. You guys might be older than me, but I'm not a puppy," he declared. "It's about the principle, Naru," Sasha said with determination before Max blinked. "Wait, hold on." He stared. "Did he say you were older than him?" She looked at Max with disdain. "You don't ask a lady her age. F the manners. How old are you?" "Ugh, this is such a drippy mood," Erin said as Aird raised a brow. "No class, no posh, it's a wonder you all survived the summer." "That's rich coming from you," the skater said with a flat look as the dark-skinned Flower Scout turned her head with a glare. "As if I'd expect some prissy frou-frou girls to survive in the wilds." "Excuse me, you reprobate." "You heard me, prissy." "Whoa, girls, let's calm this down," Naruto said nervously. "No," they told him before glaring at one another once again. "Guys, help. And miss this?" Max smirked. "Nope, you're on your own, watching the blonde at least squirm would make the summer more bearable." "Max, USCK hard." The younger male's eyebrows twitched. "Don't do it, Erin, it'll ruin your routine." Tabii said as Erin gasped, touching her cheeks. "You're right." She realized as Meredith wore a flat expression. "I'll never understand that," Naruto said. Your skin looks the same as always." "Ah, thanks, Naru." Erin smiled. "At least, some boys get the usage of our products." Naruto looked ready to dispute this claim but figured it'd be a bad idea. "Ignoring that, so, I'm curious. Didn't you guys have a camporee recently?" he asked. "And got 2 huffs for his troubles." "Those classless Campbell campers won," Sasha and Edward admitted as Naruto blinked. He looked at them and then the smug Max. How? What? Max choked before grunting. I knew it. Look, guys, no offense but Camp Campbell's only really won those things when I was here or my friends weren't, Naruto said like it was a fact as Nikki oohed and awed. Wait, could they catch you in tag? She asked as Snake raised a brow. Tag? He asked Naruto who chuckled. Well, I figured we'd get to know one another better and they suggested a game of tag. Obviously, I won, he grinned. Made a whole new record, too, though they weren't as good as the Wood Scouts were. I beat your record by a whole minute and a half. Humph, it's not shocking, Eddie said. They lack order and discipline. Their macabre of skill sets may have won them the camporee but they're not exactly all-stars, he grinned. And when the ultimate frisbee tournament comes up you won't be joining correct? He now looked nervous. Naruto chuckled. Nah, that'd make it too lopsided, especially since you guys usually use your trio for most comps. I'll probably be going to look for my hidden grotto, he smirked while leaning forward. Anyone looking for some adventure? The trek towards the hidden grotto had been done with half enthusiasm. Well, mostly from Max. DMN it, why'd I come with? He groaned to himself as Nikki grinned before a shadow passed overhead. And stop being AF weeb for 5 seconds and walk like a normal person. Max shouted at Naruto who snickered as he hung upside down from a tree branch that hooked between his feet and shins. UBSTRD, he growled. Hey, man, I travel with style, Naruto snickered. And it's been a while since I've been able to take in these forests, gotta get the most out of it, he said as he flipped back onto the trunk upright before hopping off again, Snake right behind him. Tell me, Naruto, are you here for good again? He asked as they landed on a branch. Yep, from here on out, I'll be here in America, the blonde answered. We were handling some family business in Tokyo with the government on my dad's behalf. Erd blinked. What kind? He had to get his visa to come back but was swamped with agent work, he told her and she looked more surprised. Wait, your dad's also a government agent? Also? Wait, is your dad the same? Yep, both my dads, she smirked as Naruto looked confused. My dad met my dad and then I got adopted. Oh, he looked like he barely got it. Well, it might be a bit weird to me but I don't decide how people love, that's for them to decide. You say that mushy SHT like it's the most natural thing in the world. Max whined. It's not mushy okay, it's a bit mushy but it's not like it's supposed to be hard, Naruto said. I mean, well, most of us exist don't we? He smirked cheekily as Max's eyebrow twitched. My mom said it was a whirlwind of some sort. Nikki said from the branch above the two boys in the tree. Then she said there wasn't a call or something, she considered afterward. Right, Naruto shot her finger guns. Not touching that, Naruto was sure love existed in every way and or form. He just wasn't going to touch on that one. Naru. Tabii called him as she hopped off a large tree root. Are you gonna help with the sales this year? She grinned as Sasha perked up. Hold up. That's right. She declared as Edward tooted his finger, getting a growl out of the redhead. Don't. You. Dare. Oh, poor Sasha, you always were he tapped his chin before grinning. Lacking. I will remove your face. Adequate rage, too bad it's no good, he said. You see, Naruto's ability to sell is surprisingly second to none, he's quite brand-worthy. Huh? Naruto blinked as Snake nodded. What? How the hell am I brand-worthy? It's the image, the short teen said as he put a candy cane into his mouth. Working to our advantage. I'm still not sure, Naruto said before he perked up as Nikki dropped down onto their branch. Heh, he grinned before crouching. Time for a greeting, he whispered as he saw the bushes out in the distance rustling with the event coming closer. Hold on there, Ed, Naru's my cousin, he'd see way more reason to help us, Tabii said as Petrol crossed his arms. Humph, he rolled his eyes as her eyebrow twitched before she hissed. Do you want to go, Baldy? Easy, Tabii, Erin said as she crossed her arms. Besides, let's just argue at Nera's place, the forest is gonna get humid. Worry not, you'll get some popcorn, Sarah, Edward said with a smirk as Sasha's eyebrow began to twitch violently. It's Sasha, you be. She howled. Oh, right. He made a curious sound. Sometimes, I forget. That's it. You're dead dash. There was rustling in the bushes and they all stopped what they were doing as they heard snorting and clopping. When the bushes parted well, needless to say. Naruto, get down here and save me. Sasha screeched as she quickly climbed up the tree he was in and hid behind him. Oh, good hustle dash, Naruto began to compliment only for her to grab both sides of his face. Less talking. More saving. Oh okay, seriously, it's fine, Naruto groaned as the large warthog that came out of the bushes snorted again before glaring at the group of now nervous kids. Oh, CRP, she probably doesn't remember me, he said before dropping down with Sasha held in a piggyback fashion. The warthog was easily 5 feet tall at the hump on her back, covered in light scars on her black hide, and bearing red eyes. Hey there, come on, it's me, Naruto said slowly as he put Sasha down and inched forward as Mwak came out of the underbrush with a growl. Easy there, Mwak, I've got this, he told the platypus as the warthog huffed thrice as she looked at the blonde boy. Long time no see, I know, Naruto grinned as he crouched down to face level with the large animal. That thing looks like it'll eat you. What the F are you doing? Max yelled at him while gripping his hair, Tabii's eyes narrowing as she stalked forward. Better watch it, Miss Piggy, I know you don't remember him but you remember me, she hissed as the warthog's eyebrows furrowed again. Oh, please. There are more than enough pigs over in camp, I can handle you. Hey. Nerf frowned. That was rude. We only have one pig named Nikki. Yeah. The girl in question agreed as Neil stared at her. That's not the point, Nikki. He exclaimed. And when did you wait, you snuck over here? Neil paled as she bowed. Flower scouts don't sneak, we travel, she grinned before stalking the now huffing warthog. Oh. Alright, I get it, Naruto chuckled. I guess Tabii, with 2 eyes, he smirked as she grinned. Has been keepin' ya busy but it's me, ya boy, I've been feeding you for years, the warthog snorted. Oh. He smiled shakily. We dug up truffles for Campbell 2 years back. The warthog's mouth dropped as the others balked. Seriously? Max asked flatly as Naruto rubbed the back of his head. Dude, he's a con artist. Yeah but I was helping out Uncle and Gwen more than him, I keep trying to keep Davidaji-chan away from him but that's a work in progress, Naruto said before his eyes narrowed. Well, him and Quartermaster, he growled as Max stared along with the others. You know how F up that guy is. Yeah, he tried to hunt my friends over here and dethrone the squirrel royalty, Max flinched. Why yeah, I'm sure he'd do something like that, he said with a bit of a green face. Do not tell me that that was his friend, the blonde might freak out. Wait, this is it. Max grinned cruelly. Yeah, so be careful Aroi. Naruto began to say before being tackled by a happy warthog. Ha. Ha ha ha, alright. He grinned, jumping to his feet with a warthog held over his head. Lead the way. Mwak looked bothered as the blonde walked off. Wait, since when was he that strong? Nikki asked with stars in her eyes. Can he train me? Oh, I'd love to be able to pile drive Nerf. Nerf cupped his chin with a thoughtful expression. Well, it would be nice to be carried around here for a change. Right? Neil blinked. Maybe that Nerf plan wouldn't have worked as well as we thought, he said as Snake raised a brow. Oh. Well, we were playing tag and we figured we could use Nerf and Nikki to hold him down. Ha! Snake walked off with a smirk. You all clearly don't know how strong Naruto really is. Correct, Edward said with his hands behind his back. Naruto's badges are very physically intensive. Why, he beat out poor Petrol. The tall teen saluted. Arm wrestling, animal handling, farming, and more. Why, were he not looking to be a zookeeper, I'm sure his boxing career would be permanent. Sasha considered her options. I just got an idea, she grinned slyly as Erin tilted her head. Cookie sales. She offered. Cookie sales. Now riding atop the warthog with the demure Sasha and an eager Nikki, Naruto nodded as they came to a stop by a river. And the others gaped at what had to be a nature paradise with a giant river, a huge tree that didn't make sense with a cool tree house, swings, more tree houses, and animals. Lots and lots of animals. Hell wait. What the hell is a capybara doing here? Neil asked as Space Kid, the kid in the astronaut uniform, cheered. The greatest animal. He declared as he hurried over before flopping into the river. HQ. HQ. We're taking on water. Naruto rolled his eyes as some of the others laughed before he held up his hands curiously. I wonder if they can grab him, he said to himself before clapping thrice. Space Kid stopped going downstream in confusion before yelping as he was lifted out the waters by a series of alligators. You trained alligators? Nikki squealed as Sasha grinned. Speaking of, Naru, have you been considering the upcoming sales this year? She asked innocently as Naruto chuckled nervously before Petrol walked over and blocked her. Excuse me. Now, girls, you can keep your middling sales, Edward grinned as she growled. To yourselves. This soldier has basically been the face of Wood Scouts popcorn for quite a few years. Then, it's time to change management, brace face. Rude. Snake's eye narrowed while Tabi giggled a bit. Thanks, sir, Space Kid said to Naruto as the alligators put him down on the riverbank by the blonde, the nature kid grinning as he crouched to their levels and scratched their eye ridges. Mwak grew envious. Alright, welcome to my hidden grotto, Naruto snickered as the kid stared in awe at it all. I know it looks awesome but there's a couple areas you need to be careful of, he told them with a nod as Tabi tilted her head. Are the bears still here? She asked him as the others sans Erin flinched. I mean, there should be, Naruto said as the others paled. Like, last time I was here, there were a pair of black bears. Stop talking about that. Preston trembled. Do you wish to summon a bear? Naruto tilted a bit, balanced perfectly. It's honestly not as bad as you think, hell, I'm sure David could put down a black bear if he had an actual killer instinct. He shrugged as the Gorup shot him a look. What? David? Max asked him like he was insane. That happy F. No offense, Naru, Erd said as Erin's eyebrow slowly narrowed. But David's only sharp edge is from being a square. I can honestly tell ya, David being actually good at being mad wouldn't be something you want to see, Naruto said with a shrug as they shot him curious looks. Just saying, I mean, do you honestly think working in nature is that easy? Well, statistically, it shouldn't be, Neil said slowly. But David's a twig. Speaking from experience, obviously, Sasha rolled her eyes as Neil balked. Now, come on, we have business to speak on. Only barely, Edward declared simply as she growled again, Naruto chuckling nervously at the two. Alright, come on, let's go into the main house, I might need to do some cleaning, the blonde boy said. Oh, it was easy, Erin said as he perked up. Seriously? Thanks. He shot her a thumbs up as she blushed a bit but nodded. Let me guess, the old bird treatment. I'm not surprised you'd know, Tabi said as Sasha huffed. Come on, Sasha. You're the greatest at this. Ugh, I don't want them in my hair. Again. Sasha whined as Naruto crossed his arms with a raised, if not amused, brow. She huffed with redder than her makeup blush cheeks. She folded her arms behind her back and stepped on one of the alligator's snouts. Nikki leaned forward in excitement. Naruto's sweat dropped as the salmon-haired girl was led perfectly to the other end of the river. Ugh, don't let anybody hear about this, she told the gator who cracked his jaws twice before going back to the chuckling Naruto. No way, he said, stepping onto its back and being ferried across. Sasha, you became one of their own. Don't remind me. She cried in horror as a capybara trotted over and shot her a weird look. Not now, Berry. The large rodent trotted on over to the chuckling Naruto who rubbed his side. Berry the capybara was immediately put into a catatonic state as he laid on his side and subjected himself to belly rubs. He, Naruto snickered as some flying squirrels and birds came down and landed on his shoulders. So, Berry, huh? Sasha blushed and grumbled as the boy chuckled. After everyone was, nervously in their minds, ferried over by alligators, they watched in disbelief as all the animals, the alligators, capybaras, squirrels, birds, deer, foxes, and more converged in on them while Naruto stood at the center of it all. Alright, you guys, I'm back. The blonde boy declared to the roaring animals. I'm confused, the archaeologist boy came forward with shining eyes. I did not know the animals had a leader. I shall salute him, too. Yeah, I think you should give up on that, Max said with a flat expression. What the hell is going on? It's been 1 hour and he's some Tarzan character. To be fair, we have been missing a few of those types and David doesn't count, Neil said as he stepped away from a grinning Tabii. Alright, ahem, how long has your cousin been anime Tarzan? Neru's been like this since we were kids, Tabii smiled. He's always had a Disney touch when it comes to animals all around. He gets a couple pictures on the news at every zoo he goes to. So, he's famous? Erin asked. Of course, Neru's been well liked everywhere he's been, Erin said with a shrug. It's common to surround yourself with good company so we're all friends via tabs. Good company, huh? Yes, I know you're lacking. Erin's eyebrow twitched dangerously. Who built this? The magician boy asked as Neris gasped in awe. Like, this place is cool, he smiled as Naruto chuckled. Me, David, and a few of the beavers, he said as Nikki grinned. You control all these animals? She asked him. See, can you teach me? I know my beaver isn't as good as it used to be. Petrol grunted as he nodded at the height of the treehouse. Set up to prepare for you, bud, Naruto shot him finger guns. And, when I don't really talk animal speak, they get me on the spiritual level and vice versa. Honestly, I can't literally talk a bear into, say, being my sparring partner, we gotta feel each other out. Stop saying stuff like that, she's getting excited, Max said as he sat at a table. What the hell did you do in the summer? This is furniture. You have a house in a forest. Oh, yeah, we used the beavers and some stuff from handicraft camp before it all got confiscated. The, what, camp? I'm sure you'll get to it, I mean, I even helped make a water generator, Naruto said as he flicked a wooden SWCH. And light came on, what the F? Why you're an electrician? Neil asked with hope. You're smart. Max asked, feeling despair. What? Nah, honestly, I don't really get all the words in those books, Naruto shivered. God, I hate textbooks with a passion, sorry, Neil. Oh, well, I mean, you and David built power, Naruto. That's incredible, the nerd deflated a bit but felt some of his cheer return. How? I mean, I'm sure it's in the river but that must have taken so much manpower. Okay, I think I get it, Neil said as he looked at the window where a squirrel in king attire. What? He stared in disbelief. Nope, that squirrel had on a cape and a crown all right. I mean, we kinda looked it up but we just ended up watching YouTube videos about it from some guy called I think his name was Dennis. Naruto shrugged. I'm better at doing than theory so I just went at it. It worked out, the beavers got a ton of wood and my failure and I didn't have to clean up too much. So, you're saying, Meredith began. You can work on an engine. I did it a couple times, worked on a few for my uncles and aunt, Kakashi, Obito, and Rin, they go racing sometimes due to Rin-Oba-chan's need for speed. So, you're saying you can? She asked, looking excited. Because Campbell left one old one around that needs work. Oh, right, when he tried to make the X Games come here. Naruto's sweat dropped as she grinned. I will never understand what that guy gets up to. He's wanted in, like, 3 countries and has bunkers everywhere. Hell, I built this all over one, he said flatly. Ah, a chamber. That kid without the mustache said with a smile. You wouldn't happen to know where it is, do you? I'd like to see the architecture. Sasha blinked in disbelief. Max facepalmed. No, we're touching that, Edward said flatly as Snake blinked in confusion. These campers are strange, he said slowly as if trying to place this particular boy somewhere. Right. Petrol just looked disturbed. I mean, probably not dude, that'd require moving a lot of stuff first and this is my first day here, Naruto said before humming. Well, actually, can you guys finally tell me all your names? Neris the cute. Neris presented herself happily while Nikki gasped. Nikki the vicious. She declared as Naruto snorted. Right, next. Harrison, pleased to make your acquaintance, the magician kid said with a smile, a bow, and a tilted hat. I didn't think I'd see another who's good at animals, Harrison said as he presented his hat and pulled out a rabbit. Where exactly does that one come from? Naruto asked the magician boy who blinked, putting the rabbit down and scratching his head. I can't really explain it but think of it like a great beyond. I kinda get it, the older boy said before finding a rabbit at his feet. You don't need her, do ya? Naruto asked as the creature climbed his pants and then shirt before sitting on his shoulder, cleaning her face. Or is it like some kinda alchemy? It's just magic, it's fake, Neil said as Harrison tooted his finger. If you believe, Neil, sometimes things are different, the magic kid said as he pulled out a dove next. And, I think you can keep that one. I wasn't really great at calling things back, he muttered. Gotcha kinda, next. Yo, Meredith introduced. Don't they call you Aird? Naruto asked, putting the rabbit on his sink. Or is that just a nickname? Aird's cool, my name's on a cool enough to know basis, she said with a thumbs up. Gotcha, I might be too cool for you, Naruto snickered as she gawked at him. Hey man, being this handsome and cute is hard pull off sometimes, he said smugly as she shot him a look. We'll see about that. He's right, Erin said daintily. We can never tell how he does it, it's like he's got James Bond genes. Hee, his hair's always soft for some reason, Tabi declared as Sasha made a realized face and came over to Naruto with some tweezers and a paper bag. And he's never had acne but his voice got deeper, it's kinda the opposite of Eddie, Pikeman flinched. I am fine. He wheezed out in a higher octave, Max and Snake snickering gaining his attention. At ease, men, there's no need for such childishness. Right, Tabi smirked. Natural care? Aird asked, glaring at an equally glaring Erin. Might be interesting, it's probably a better routine than hers, she smirked as Erin gasped. How dare you, the blue-haired one said with a growl. Oh, trust me, I'm plenty daring. Naruto looked between them with a nervous smile. They aren't rivals, are they? He asked the now next to him Nikki. Well, I'd consider them our arch-nemeses. She declared. Honestly, though, I didn't know Air didn't like Erin, maybe she thinks she's stealing her groove. Naruto walked over to the table before sitting down. Alright, who's next? Nerf, new kid, Nerf said simply but professionally. I'm the muscle around these parts. Oh, so like me and petrol, Naruto hummed as Nerf cupped his chin. I am big for my age but I'm not sure how I fare against warthogs. They're both fat and muscle but on a, usually, small frame. That one, I call her Obuta, Naruto grinned. Became that way because of specialized training, food I grow on my own in a patch out back, and it's likely also because it's about to be breeding season, she's bulking up, it's almost the middle of June, after all. Huh, you really take care of all these animals? Neil asked as a parrot sat on his head. A parrot? In this climate? Speaking of, how is there a capybara here? And alligators? I know they can live in fresh water but this far into a forest near to the city? You can blame Campbell, he basically stranded some of these guys here because he thought he could get a zoo going if we used my rep, Naruto huffed. Turned him down on the spot, good thing, too, because he was gone basically the entire next year. Also, next. I am Dolph, the archaeologist, kid, smiled. I'm from America and Germany, he told Naruto who blinked. Oh. You mean you're both American and German, he said as Dolph smiled. Ah, nice to meet another mixed-natured dude out here. I suppose you're American and Japanese? Dolph offered and Naruto grinned while Sasha, Pashawed. Goodness no, he's a bit more exotic, she said with a grin. Neru is half Japanese, a fifth American, a fifth German, Sasha checked the blonde for verification. Yep, a fifth Chinese and a fifth British. That's a lot of fifths, Neil said. I'm not exactly great at math but I think that's how that works. Naruto offered with a weak grin. Saz. I've long since learned mathematics isn't everyone's strong suit. Nice, next. Preston good play. Preston introduced himself with a bow. You wouldn't happen to be looking for a playwright, would you? What? Dude, no, I thought I told you no slavery. I like the idea, Sasha smirked as Naruto facepalmed. Naru, what the hell is he talking about? And is he talking professional SLV because that's definitely a useful one. Ignore that, it was just part of the tag bet and I dropped it already, he said flatly as she gasped. Naru, you can't keep doing that. Yes, as much as it pains me to admit it, Edward huffed. Sasha is correct, why, imagine the leeway. You could have controlled dear Maxwell. Excuse me. Max shot up. I never want to join your F camp. Oh, Maxwell, sometimes, we don't choose. Oh, I'm about to choose F violence. Naruto rolled his eyes at that. Nikki, is Max always like this? The blonde asked the teal-haired girl who sprouted down from the roof. Usually, she said as she spoke chipmunk to some chipmunks. Whoa. These guys all love ya. Well, I did help deliver a couple babies in this place, hell, Obunta had dash. The front door of the treehouse opened to reveal said warthog who trotted on in followed by a series of 5 miniature warthogs. There she is, Naruto's sweat dropped as the warthog shook her head with an expectant look. Sometimes, I really wonder if she's too well trained, he chuckled before Space Kid grinned. Baby pigs. He declared as he crouched by one. Nice Tommy-cha, friend, I am Space Kid. What's your name, Space Kid? Naruto asked. Oh, it's Neil. Science Neil exploded. What? Repeat yourself. The name's Neil. Naruto crossed his arms and raised a brow at Science Neil. Naruto, I swear to God, if you applied AF prefix to my name dash. Science Neil began to say. What? No, Naruto lied through his teeth as Sasha sat on his shoulders and plucked some of his hairs. Of course not, Neil. It's just, you do realize that people can have the same name, right? Hell, Neil Armstrong. Oh, you know my great-granddad. Space Neil said with a grin, sitting on the floor with a warthog baby in his arms sniffing at his cape. Neil Armstrong Jr. Reporting for duty. Wait, what? Erin blinked at him in confusion, squinting her eye, before her phone was in her hands and her finger flew over the buttons. That's bullshit, there's no way, Max said flatly. How in the world would we know Neil Armstrong's grandkid? It's nonsense. Space Kid considered his words. Nope. It's real. My uncle's even an astronaut. There's literally no way that's true, Neil said with a twitching eye. I can't believe you. Well, I can't force ya. Godmit, Space Kid. Alright, hold on, there's literally an easy way to solve this, Naruto said as he shot Erin a look. What's it looking like, Erin? Crazy as it sounds? He's telling the truth, Erin said as Neil's jaw dropped when she showed them her phone. Look. There, in an article, showed a familiar-looking kid in a fake space suit, standing next to two individuals. It's true. Preston said in awe while Meredith blinked in disbelief. You've great ancestors. He said to the grinning Neil on the floor. Yep, he said simply while other Neil slumped. But, hey, you can keep being called Neil, I like Space Kid. Space Kid declared as the scientist, by his own admission, groaned while Max snickered. That's crazy. We know famous people. Nikki said in awe. A zoologist and an astronaut. Oh. Is anyone else famous? She asked the group and Edward shrugged. My father's in the military, he admitted. Lieutenant Commander, even, he is the golden sheep of the pikeman name. Snake shrugged. Mom's a doctor. Oh. My uncle works in a candy factory. Dolph declared with a smile as the Campbell camper's head snapped to him. Yeah. Usually dash. Easy there, Dolph, Naruto chuckled nervously as Sasha grinned with enough of his hair products. Let's not say things that'll get you in a bind. In a bind? Oh, yes, idioms can be a bit difficult for me, at times. It's what it is. Now, the blonde boy petted the patiently waiting Obunta, her piglets either standing on her back or sitting blankly by her forelegs. Obunta brought her kids and we should probably give them a bunch of attention. Erin grinned along with Tabii as they crouched down and pet a couple of piglets who strut their stubby stuff. Totes adorbs, the tallest flower scout giggled a bit as she smoothed out a single hair on a piglet's head. You'll be comb over ready in no time. Baby waddles, Tabii gasped, eyes enlarging at the obviously a bit dumb warthog. OMG. If I didn't know Garden Mother would want to eat your cute little toes, I'd totally bring you back with us. Why is it that DMN near all the leaders of these camps are some kind of criminal? Naruto asked Sasha flatly as she tucked her things away. I don't know a thing, she said with a grin, patting his shoulders. The boy rolled his eyes but kneeled so she could get off him without trouble. I'm honestly too nice sometimes, he muttered before chuckling as Snake smirked. Yeah, I know. Well, since we're here, might as well double-check some things in the back patch. Petrol nodded and Naruto led the way as most of the others played with the piglets, Obunta following the two with a pep in her trot, Sasha grinning as she pulled out a multi-tool and grabbed a basket off the wall. He made a weird sound as Naruto snickered. Opening a door in the back of the tree house, they walked down a stone pathway that led across a small bridge over a river. On both sides down the way, sat 4 big patches of vegetables with carrots, potatoes, strawberries, and an herb garden. Sasha zeroed in on the red fruit while Petrol breathed in the air, looking at peace. Yes. Alright, you girls and Tabii did some awesome work, thanks, Sasha, Naruto said as he walked down the way, the normally self-absorbed girl too caught up in her berry picking to respond. Alright, Obunta, let's get you some radishes, he chuckled as the warthog mother of 5 snorted in excitement. It was maybe 10 minutes of obsessed eating from all 4 before the others came out to see where they were. Veggies, Space Kid said with a grin, a piglet standing on top of his fishbowl. Ooh. Berries. Back off. Flower Scout property. Sasha said as she hissed from within the berries bushes, Tabii and Erin hurrying over. Pack up, girls. We're taking these back to camp for jam. They picked with scrutiny as Max blinked at Naruto currently feeding Obunta cut-up radishes. As in, he raised his knife hand before cutting the vegetable with precise chops like some kinda bullshit karate kid. Ooh. Nikki grinned, a piglet in her hair, before rushing over and grabbing a cut-up piece of radish. How's it tasting, Pokey? She asked her piglet, taking him out of her hair and hand-feeding him some radish. The piglet's tail wagged and her heart soared. Huh, Neil raised a brow at Naruto's chopping skills. I thought you were a boxer. Well, Pikeman said you had a boxing career. And he does, the boy in question said as a piglet sat by his feet, a small sash over its body. As we said, Naruto is a physical marvel, due to some connections through our commander, he's been able to participate in tourneys for the sake of money and spreading our brand. Once again, he's quite brandyable, Edward as Harrison blinked. The magic boy came over with interest. You don't happen to have experience with cutting people in half, do you? Because I've been practicing on that magic for a while, Harrison asked with a cupped chin. Harrison, what? Naruto's sweat dropped as Ubuntu ate without stopping. I don't want to hurt people who aren't expecting to be in a fight with me. I don't chop people in half. Well, I was just curious. So, you built all of this, too? Meredith asked as she observed the stone walkway with interest. You're not a carpenter, by any chance, are ya? Well, I mean, we did make all this so if you're looking to have some material spruced up, I'm your boy. We'll work on that. There's a couple half-pipes I've been dying to use but Gwen calls them safety hazards, she groaned as he smiled nervously. Erd, what state are those half-pipes in? Okay, so, just follow me on this. That's not encouraging. They're fine, Naru, they just need some smoothing out and a bit of varnish, she said with a casually sailing hand. How broken is it? Naruto asked Max, who shrugged. I'm pretty sure it used to be a big peach guillotine, don't know what the F Campbell does up here but I try to ignore that, he said flatly. Max, chill, it's not that bad, Erd said as the small Indian stared at her in disbelief. Are you crazy? Daring. Then, maybe you could help with my castle. Neris asked the blonde who blinked before shrugging. Castle Neris is in need of a bit of a touch-up, she said slowly after some thought. I did fix the dungeon but, we took on a lot of water. It rained, didn't it? Nerf asked without missing a beat. The torrential tribute of the skies wasn't nice that day. Yeah, it's what I expected. Honestly, Gwen, it'll be nice to have some more help here outside of Naruto, David said as he looked at the ad in the newspaper. Maybe, we'll get someone else fun. I'm fine with our Japanese wonder, Gwen told him as she finished wiping the table. Speaking of conflicts with the Japanese, she muttered as Quartermaster passed the window outside with a look of determination in his eye. So, how long will it be until we have to deal with that guy and Naru getting into a fight again? David stopped, blinked, and smiled nervously. Maybe Quartermaster has gotten it out of his system? He asked shakily as she shot him a look that said it all. We'll probably have the new person keep an eye out, right? Gwen considered the option. Well, it's a good thing we're unable to be sued for several kinds of trauma alright, she muttered before shrugging. All I know is that we need to keep Naruto in high regard, especially for when the CEOs want to see him again. Oh, they love him. I'm sure it'll be just like last time. Well, I guess it won't be so bad if it's that simple. So alright folks, that's all for today. Stay tuned for part 2. Do subscribe, like and share for more such videos. Also check out the story and author Nasha Rei-Kun on FANFICTIONnet. Press the bell icon to be notified first on release. See you in the next video, till then goodbye.